Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you for joining us tonight. Now please welcome to the Millennium stage the Baltimore Symphony Youth Orchestras and Baltimore Symphony Orchestra Orchids.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Carol Bogash, and I'm Vice President of Education and Community Engagement for the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra. I am beyond thrilled to present our kids to you tonight. They're part of two flagship programs in our education department. One is BSO Orchids, and the other one is the Baltimore Symphony Youth Orchestras, and tonight you're going to hear members of the concert orchestra. These are kids, by and large, who are middle school age kids. And they come from Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Howard County, Carroll County, and Montgomery County in Maryland. Through all of our mentoring, we actually provide instrumental instruction to about 2,000 kids each year from all across the state of Maryland. The Baltimore Symphony Orchestra, under the leadership of our music director, Maren Alsop, is the only major orchestra in the country with two permanent homes. One is in Baltimore at the Meyerhoff, and the other one is in Montgomery County at the Music Center at Strathmore. A central core of our mission is to provide the finest music education in a positive environment that fosters social change and also personal empowerment for each of our kids. Our Orchids program was honored by the President and received in 2013 the National Youth Arts Award. And the Baltimore Symphony Youth Orchestras, and there are three of them, are considered really among the finest in this region. I'm thrilled that you're here tonight to hear our kids, and I hope you enjoy them thoroughly. And now I'd like to introduce the Artistic Director of Orchids, Dan Trahey. Dan?
Good evening, everyone. I want to start by saying that when we go anywhere, we're a pain in the rear with all of these kids. So I want to really thank the sound crew, including Josh back there, has done an amazing job. Jen on lights, and the deckhands, Max and Josh. Can we give them a round of applause? They've done an amazing job today. So what you just heard in our opening is the pinnacle of 7 years of intense rhythmic training, ensemble development, and social work. This is the Orchids Performance Bucket Band, made up of young musicians from 3rd grade through 9th grade. These students are selected from over 850 orchids playing in rhythm ensembles from 5 different sites all across Baltimore City. This group actually may be familiar to some of you. They've been featured with the Baltimore Symphony on the Meyerhoff stage. They've played the halftime of a Ravens football game, of a last Thanksgiving Day Ravens game. They've performed alongside world-class musicians such as Colin Curry and the group Time for Three. And this group right here has performed over 100 times in the last 7 years, anywhere from soup kitchens and on stoops to the elite concert halls of the East Coast, which we just think is absolutely unbelievable. So why bucket band? Well, we use the bucket band to hone a child's rhythmic ear, to train the student in ensemble behavior before they get into the orchestra, to teach form and musical structure, promote composition, and to accentuate the complexity and beauty of the music bubbling up from the students' already rich musical culture and communities. The Orchids Bucket Band is led by someone I describe as a musical visionary / drill sergeant, and that's Brian Prechtel. Brian Prechtel is a composer, educator, and a member of the percussion section of one of the elite orchestras of this country, the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra. He and the Orchids have single-handedly put bucket band into the lexicon of inner-city music programs across this country. The songs you were hearing from this ensemble are composed and arranged by Brian and the students. I just want to say that one more time. The songs that you're hearing right here are composed by these students and their instructor, which I think is absolutely amazing. So please give a huge applause to the Orchids, and please welcome Brian Prechtel.
Thank you very much. I'm just going to say a couple of things. I've been working with these guys over the last 6 or 7 years, and it's amazing what we've been able to accomplish. It's drumming at a very high level and music making that will contribute to all of their music making for the rest of their lives. Their sense of internal pulse, their sense of the importance of teamwork, and subjugating themselves to the needs of the group are some of the primary things we teach. But the best thing about Bucket Band is that I can get kids in my classroom, and I see them all as soon as they walk into the building at 4 or 5 years old, and they're immediately making music. Because all we do is call response to start with, and the kids are able to immediately play. So we don't have to wait for 2, 3, 4 years for them to have the skills that it takes to play some of the instruments. And you see that it takes a long time. If any of you have children playing, which many of you I know do, you realize how long it takes. We're able to start immediately with the listening skills and with the means of expression that you'll see tonight reaching a real peak. So without further ado, we're going to play the next tune that we've just written recently called "We Like to Rock." Orchids, rest position. 1, 2, 3, and...
Thank you. That was Mozart's Marriage of Figaro Overture. Good evening, I am Mary Poling, and I conduct the Baltimore Symphony Youth Concert Orchestra. As part of the Baltimore Symphony Orchestra's commitment to reaching communities around the state of Maryland and beyond, the BSYO mentors and teaches young musicians all over the Mid-Atlantic region. The BSO is comprised of 3 ensembles tailored to specific age groups and skills levels, offering each student individualized attention and a supportive, welcoming performance environment. The Youth Orchestra is a pre-professional full orchestra geared towards exceptionally talented upper high school students, which performs standard orchestral repertoire under the direction of our artistic director, Maestro Ken Lamb. Our concert orchestra is our intermediate level full orchestra, geared towards middle school and lower high school age students. The select group you're hearing tonight is only half of the regular concert orchestra, yet it alone represents 6 counties and 33 different schools in Maryland. Our third orchestra is our string orchestra, which features top-notch elementary and lower middle school players and focuses its attention on developing strong musicianship, technique, and ensemble skills. Nana Bond conducts this group. Students at BSYO also have the opportunity to participate in chamber music groups. You will hear one later on this evening, and to play outside concerts like this unique partnership with Orc Kids. Our organization serves over 210 of the Mid-Atlantic region's most talented young musicians. Auditions are competitive, and so these students also excel in academics, athletics, and other artistic pursuits. Each year, BSYO alumni go on to study at our nation's finest select colleges and universities, many of them receiving generous scholarships. BSYO is grateful for our partnership with Carver Center for the Arts and Technology, a Baltimore County magnet high school, where we rehearse on Sunday afternoons and hold some of our concerts. We also have the privilege of playing at the Meyerhoff Symphony Hall, and BSO musicians, including music director Marin Alsop, work with our students in sectional rehearsals, side-by-side concerts, and master classes. Thank you all for coming, and thank all of those who are watching live stream. I hope you enjoy the rest of the concert. Our next selection will be Copland's Variations on a Shaker Melody. And now Tchaikovsky's Capriccio Italian.
Okay, that last piece was Harry Belafonte's Turn the World Around. That was arranged by Orchid's long-term and long-time ensemble director, Eli Worth. And it is a response to the statistically abnormal amounts of police brutality towards minorities in this country. The Orchids will be also performing this tomorrow at a Rally for Peace, a musician's response to police brutality in the United States. So I want to talk a little bit about Orchids and what we are. It's not just a music program, and as you can probably see already. Orchids is a social and music education program designed around the premise of access and opportunity. But foremost, Orchids is a social program using music as a vehicle for change in Baltimore City youth. Simply put, our mission is to provide Baltimore City students with mentoring, encouragement, and vision for a promising future. To create an in-school and after-school program devoted to music appreciation, academics, citizenship, community awareness, family, and emotional, social, and physical health. Conceptually, Orchids was the brainchild of Baltimore Symphony Orchestra's music director, Marin Alsop. And I'll just tell you for a second, the reason that Marin's not here today is because she has her own gig in Baltimore tonight at the Meyerhoff. So that's why she couldn't make it. Mrs. Alsop believed so much in the idea of supporting at-risk youth in Baltimore City and cultivating the next generation of artists, lawmakers, and leaders that she supplied the initial $100,000 seed money for the program from the MacArthur Foundation grant that she received. I'd like to give Ms. Alsop a round of applause for that. The Orchids program is completely free and now serves children from over 21 Baltimore City public schools. Our students receive free meals every single day, as well as an hour of program time dedicated to academic tutoring from some of our partners. In a single academic year, through our tutoring program and music education classes, our Orchids receive an average of 640 more hours of active learning than their Baltimore City public school peers. So what does this look like to our kids and with our kids? So roughly 80% of our Orchid students scored higher than their peers on their MSA reading and math tests. Our students elude the 13% chronic absenteeism rate in Baltimore City, and our students are in the 98th percentile in terms of their absenteeism of anybody in the city of Baltimore. I'd like to give them a round of applause for that. Thank you. As it stands today, Orchids is the largest single provider of after-school programming in arts education for Baltimore City schools as well. So how do we do this? We have a pedagogical philosophy behind this, and I want to talk to you about it. First, all of our kids are multi-instrumentalists. You saw them drumming. The same kids that are playing in the bucket band right here are playing Rossini and playing Mahler, and will hopefully someday play on these stages as well as afterwards play in the clubs around these towns. Okay? Each one of our kids is engaged in percussion ensembles such as the bucket band you just saw. They all play multiple genres of music. So we're not looking for a musician who only plays jazz or only plays hip-hop or reggae. We want someone that can play every style of music. Every one of our students is a singer as well. They all sing in one of our various choirs that obviously we couldn't fit on this stage today. We're teaching them to dance and move freely and express themselves to the music. And another important thing is that we engage the kids in public speaking, community engagement, and one of the biggest things is that they need to be advocates for their community and for our art form of music, and specifically classical music. And the last and maybe the most important thing is that we have our students teaching other students. We believe that if a student knows 3 notes, that they can teach those 3 notes to a student who knows no notes at all. So our students are becoming mentors from a very young age. An effort of this magnitude takes a tremendous amount of courage, a lot of perseverance, and a lot of sweat equity, to be honest with you. And I would like to thank the musicians of the Baltimore Symphony who are involved with this. I'd like to thank the Meyerhoff and Strathmore administrative staff. And I want to recognize a few people here. So if you are a BSO employee, could you please stand? I'd like to thank Carol Bogash, Katie Appelfeld, Alicia Kozak, Nicholas Cohen, Nick Skinner, Camille Delaney McNeil, Lynette Fields, Raphaela Dreisen, Kay Shepard, Blair Skinner, Hannah Morford, Maren Strigley, Molly Westbrook, and any other Orchids or Baltimore Symphony staff. The people that are standing right here are around these 850 children every single day, and it is a major labor of love. So let's get back to the collaboration. This is a wonderful piece that's actually student-led, and let's welcome back to the stage the BSYO and the Orchids.
So this is the chamber music that I was telling you about. The CO had 2 woodwind quintets, and we found out that the Orc kids, well, sort of had a woodwind quintet. So we added the saxophone and tuba and had the wonderful, glorious sound of Haydn's Divertimento. Next, our students had so much fun. I just wanted to say how much fun we had collaborating for this concert. The kids love getting to know one another and especially making music together. So at this time, BSYO and the Orc Kids students will join together for our final combined pieces. I'd like to welcome Eli Worth to the podium. He is the Orc Kids Ensemble Director. from Rossini's Barber Seville Overture to a little Strauss, and we are going to need your participation, please. So when I cue you, if I conduct very small, you will clap very softly. If I conduct in large gestures, you will clap loudly. And when I do this, you're done. So enjoy.
I have the honor of introducing our guest artist tonight. Our brief time with stunning soloist Chichi Wanaku has been like a beautiful lightning strike of passion, love, and musical nurturing. She's been coming out to West Baltimore for the last 3 days, and she's made an impact that I'm telling you will last a lifetime. Chichi was born in London, and as she tells it, forced herself into a neighbor's piano practice room, made the neighbor teach her piano, and then a week later, that neighbor was moving a piano, wheeling it down the street into her family's house so she could actually practice that piano. She was an elite sprinter in England, and after an injury, and at the age of 18, which is actually very late, started playing the double bass. She's a founding member of one of the best orchestras in the world, and principal bass of that orchestra, which is the Orchestra of the Age of Enlightenment. And she also teaches at her alma mater, the Royal Academy of Music. She's in the United States right now doing master classes and attending viewings of a new documentary about her life, Tales from the Bassline. Chichi has worked with our music director, Marin Alsap, for the past 10 years and is generously donating her services to us for this performance. We are humbled that her caliber has brought her, we are humbled by the caliber of her playing and just amazed at her heartfelt and social mission that has led her to work in West Baltimore with us. It's just absolutely amazing. We're so lucky to get the caliber musicians we do coming out to West Baltimore. When I first approached Chichi about working with us, she asked if we could play a Baroque-era piece by a composer named Capuzzi, a double bass concerto. And I said, no, I don't want to do Capuzzi. I want to do Rihanna. And she said, Rihanna, who's Rihanna? I said, well, she's a Caribbean hip-hop artist who's really, really big in America. And she paused for a second and said, yes. And I think that kind of exemplifies the type of musician and the type of social advocate that Chichi is. So without further ado, can we welcome to the stage Chichi, the Orchids, the BSYO, and Elijah Worth.